everybody, my name is Miranda, and this week The Flash officially aired its first season finale, and with it my summer TV hiatus has officially begun, as all my shows are now not coming back till the fall. So it's a little depressing, but we have Netflix, so I think I'll make it through it. Of course, as always, there's going to be a spoiler warning if you haven't watched the finale or any of The Flash and you don't want to be spoiled for what happens. The finale had a lot going on. Now, Flash as a whole this season I felt has been very, very, very strong, and the finale was just the perfect ending cap to the season as a whole, I felt like. Now, season 1, I think we can officially call it as the season of Barry's whole journey of trying to save his mom. He went back in time because he made the deal with Dr. Wells / Edmund, whatever. If he opened the wormhole, he could go back, save his mom, and Edmund would be able to return home and murder people there instead of in our time. So yay for everyone! So Barry finally got to go and see his mom, and he was just about to rescue her when the future Barry, another Barry who rescued Barry as a kid from being killed, you know, it's all very confusing, he basically said that no, don't do this, don't save mom. And Barry ultimately decides not to save his mom. He sees her, and that's kind of his final goodbye to her, letting this part of himself go, letting this mission that he's been able to think since basically episode 10 that he could have saved his mom. We've seen from multiple time travel movies and TV shows, and I'm sure Cisco could back me up on this, some things are just meant to be. You can't change them without having severe consequences, because as bad as some things are, if you change them, they're going to take away the good with the bad. And they kind of started to get into this on a smaller scale with saying that if Barry went and saved his mom, there was a chance that he wouldn't meet Caitlin, he wouldn't meet Cisco, and he wouldn't go and live with Joe and Iris, and his life would be forever changed. So it's kind of outweighing the negatives with the pros, but of course this is Barry's mom, so he always wanted to try. But I think now, as he went back for one final time, this is his cap on realizing that his mom was kind of always meant to die, which is tragic to think about, and like, not to lighten it, but it's just something that if he tries to change it, worse things could happen, and worse things did happen, as we saw, even though he didn't save his mom when he came back and the wormhole was still open. Now, this was the big kind of cliffhanger for the season, which I'm sure we all know that Barry will close the wormhole, because I mean, the Earth isn't going to be swallowed up. We've got tons of shows that prove that's not happening. So Barry's going to stop this wormhole, but the question is, what's going to come out of this wormhole? Because this wormhole, to put it in the simplest terms, is basically just all these alternate time universes in there, like just floating around and stuff. So in one universe, Oliver Queen could still be stuck on the island. In another universe, Felicity Smoke could still be in Vegas. It's just all these random timelines that could occur. And what most people think is going to happen now is this is going to be like the particle accelerator from the pilot, where this wormhole is now going to allow new villains to come out that Barry will have to fight. One of these villains, as we got a glimpse of when Barry was running through the Speed Force and seeing the past, present, and future of all the possible timelines, was Killer Frost, aka Caitlin Snow. Now, I feel like this is a really interesting development, because since the time Caitlin Snow had been announced on the show, everyone was waiting for her big villainy moment, for this moment that was going to turn her into Killer Frost, turn her against Barry, and instead this whole season we've had build up to them being friends, to people shipping them. Like, now everyone's kind of walking on eggshells waiting for her to turn into Killer Frost, because it's going to be so heartbreaking and so horrendous that she's going to turn her back on all her friends. But now, seeing this, and with the wormhole, we have the possibility that the Caitlin Snow we know, nice rhyme by the way, is not going to be Killer Frost, but a Caitlin Snow from a different timeline. Say maybe she could have known Barry, but when she got captured by Captain Cold, maybe he blasted her and then she became Killer Frost. In a different universe, there is a Killer Frost that exists somewhere, and because of this wormhole now, she could come through and be there. We could have Caitlin and Killer Frost on the same screen. And it's a really exciting premise to me to think that we don't have to lose the Caitlin we know, the happy Caitlin, the sweet Caitlin, just to get Killer Frost. We could have Killer Frost in some other kind of way. I was excited to see Killer Frost because, I mean, they've kind of danced around it saying that it's going to happen. They're just not saying when it's happening. I hope they improve her costume, because her costume just looked like something out of like a 15-year-old boy's cosplay. Like, it just didn't look that badass or that scary to me. It was not what I was picturing or hoping for, so I hope they make it more badass and less about the female body. Let's put it that way. But that's one of the villains I'm really looking forward to if they do bring her on. And then also in the Speed Force, we got to see a glimpse of Barry in jail, which sad as that will be, jail has been good to Barry Allen. He looked very good. So the thing that was really cool about this was at the end when the wormhole was coming and sucking everyone up and everyone's like, oh no, what is this? We got to see 2 Legends of Tomorrow characters. One was not Sarah, unfortunately, as much as I was hoping, but we saw Captain Cold, who kind of obvious because we met Captain Cold, but we also saw Hawk Girl, which was a really nice shout out, I feel like, tying it into Legends of Tomorrow because obviously she's there, so now it's going to be a little easier to bring her in. She's in Central City, so it was just a nice moment of being like, hey, here she is, and if you know who she is, it was cool. If you don't know who she is, you're about to, so you'll remember afterwards. Now, as I said, of course, the whole mission of the season, and this episode particularly, was to save Barry's mom, to make her alive, change Barry's life, get his dad out of jail, all this stuff. And if you, like me, were very confused about time travel, because time travel is very, very confusing, let's be honest, you need Martin Stein. He was like our guru go-to for time travel. He explained it all out. And he basically also explained Eddie's role in this, in that Eddie kind of doesn't really have a destiny or anything in this because Edmund can't touch him. He needs him or else Edmund wouldn't be alive. And as soon as they said that, I was like, oh yeah, that means Eddie can't die. Stupid me, not realizing what was happening. And then we get to the part where Edmund has Barry cornered. It's looking like all heck's about to break loose for our hero, and then you just hear a shot ring out, and I was like, oh crap. I was like, please, please, please don't. And then they turn around, and it's Eddie, and I was like, oh, Eddie, like, why couldn't you just get a vasectomy? And then you couldn't have kids, so your bloodline couldn't happen. He would still disappear that way. Like, you didn't have to shoot yourself in the heart and kill yourself. That was such a sad moment. And if you watched Arrow Season 1, it was definitely a nice callback and throwback to Tommy at the end of Season 1. He really was a good guy. I mean, he had a lot of chances to turn against Barry, and he always stayed on that side. And at the end of the day, he did die a hero, even though, again, he could have just gotten a vasectomy and still been alive and still been with Iris, but, you know, it wouldn't have been as dramatic waiting for him to go to the doctor, and, you know, it was kind of pressing, urgent time, like they needed him. So he shot himself, he died, and as soon as he did that, Edmund started to disappear, but he still had time to spout out one final nefarious line at Barry, which was basically that he's controlled Barry's entire life for so long now. Who does Barry think he's going to be without him? And I think that could be an interesting question, in that his journey about saving his mom and getting his dad out of prison has been so much of his life for so long that now that he realizes he can't do that, that who is he going to be? What's his new mission going to be and all that? So I think that's going to be a really important part of Season 2. It might play in later after we get the Legends of Tomorrow stuff out of the way, but it's going to be kind of his identity crisis, I feel like Oliver Queen had, except hopefully less brooding and stupid decisions. So we'll see how that goes, but I mean, Eddie, that was just a great moment, I feel like. I'm really sad to see him go. The producers confirmed that the actor is not going to be a series regular when the show returns for next season. He could still be back in some way. I mean, the fact that Season 2 is going to be all about time travel, we now have alternate timelines, so we could see Eddie sometime in an episode if they go into a different timeline or whatever, but it's just he is dead in our timeline and he's not coming back. And it was really, really sad. I was like crying, and I kid you not, I haven't watched like 5 episodes of The Flash, and then the season finale was on, and I was like, oh, I should watch the season finale. And then they shot Eddie, and I was like, what is this? I didn't sign up for this. And then finally, the last OMG big shocker that we had was basically Edmund as Wells and Cisco were talking, and then something happened, and Edmund just looks at him and is like, oh, you were changed by the particle accelerator. I wasn't sure. And Cisco's like, what? No, I wasn't. Like, what are you talking about? I'm perfectly fine. So this has been the confirmation that we've all been waiting for, that Cisco now is also a metahuman. It seems like Caitlin is fine. She didn't have anything happen to her in the particle accelerator, which, how the heck is she the only one that's fine? I'm wondering if that's going to play in more next season. But this is something that fans of the comic books have known is coming for a while, the minute they cast Cisco, basically, because Cisco Ramon is in the Flash universe, the comic books, just like Caitlin Snow. His superhero alter ego is called the Vibe, and basically, in what would make Cisco very proud, they named him that because he can sense vibrations and manipulate them in the universe. I mean, it's kind of like Sky, I guess, in the vibration way. I feel like on the show they're gonna have him be able to do less than Sky can. He can't like collapse forests and move people and start hearts and all that, I feel like. But this is gonna be really important because he can sense now where people are coming from if villains come from other timelines, and that'll help them get them back to where they belong. So I feel like this was just a really nice shout out. It wasn't really explained all that well, but it was again one of those really nice cliffhangers that's going to carry us to season 2. I'm really excited to see where they go with Cisco's character next season, as well as Caitlyn's character, if they do decide to somehow make her Killer Frost in this universe, if they bring in Killer Frost from another universe. I really hope they do it well. I mean, season 1 was so amazing in so many ways, but season 2 is going to be so much crazier and so much bigger. It's going to be all about time travel, and time travel, the thing with that is every single thing that happens, you can go in another universe and it can all be erased, as we learned. And if someone close to Barry dies, like say Caitlyn or Cisco, I'm sure he's going to try and change that, and then that'll have consequences that we're not all prepared for. Maybe that's how Killer Frost is going to come, is Caitlyn's going to die, Barry's going to go back and save her in a different timeline, and then we come back and now she's Killer Frost. So there's just so many possibilities, so many ways. I'm really hoping they can keep it all together, because time travel can get so confusing. If you saw the finale or any of season 1, please feel free to leave your thoughts down below. What villain are you most looking forward to and or hoping to see in season 2? I gotta say, I'm really looking forward to Killer Frost, and I really hope that they tie it into Caitlyn somehow, like maybe she does get hurt and die or something like that, and then Barry tries to save her, and that's how Killer Frost comes about. I'm just really excited to see what's gonna happen. Thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe to my channel down below to be told when I make more videos. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!